Okay. T1s. T1s. I received my T1s not in the same case as many others. My T1s are not in the best condition as many others. And my T1s are not the flagship from Beyerdynamic, for these are the Gen 1 T1s. Modded Gen 1 T1s. And I want to make a video on them. So first off, let's get a few of the weird things out of the way. Let's get build and sound out of the way. Build. Full metal chassis over here. This is metal. This is a rubberized plastic material. Very grippy, very nice feeling to the touch. The grill is metal. This cut, trimmed piece here is also metal. The hangers. The strap, I believe, is spring steel, which is very linear in clamp, and in general, a very nice loose clamp indeed. On top of that, the articulation has enough angle left and right. You also are able to have the drivers or the cups go up and down like so. And these are actually bigger, taller in adjustability compared to the Pro lineup if you were to do a direct comparison. So we're going to quickly pause the video and take out the DT880s, for they are the closest thing I can get right now. So take a look at this. So right here is the DT880 Pros, 250 ohm. And if I were to max the head strap on these, they're not as tall. There is a lot more height and adjustability on the T1s. Another very similar thing that has to be pointed out is that they also have the same cup size and pad size. You can actually probably get away with putting a different pad on the T1s, and you can probably get away if you have them laying around the velour pads from the 880s or the 990s, and maybe the hard velour pads from the 770s. Again, I grabbed the 880s because these things have no cable. It's a little easier to handle these. Another very weird similarity is the strap. Now just know that the headband does not actually come with the Pro strap. There's actually supposed to be a velour strap that goes with these, very similar to the Amaron design. This says Beyerdynamic on top and is a lot more premium than the Pro lineup. Besides that, the cable design has not changed. It's still a single entry design, but I believe that, yeah, there you go. Single entry design from how the modder did it. I actually believe that this should have been dual entry originally, which is definitely different from the 880s, so apologies, that's what I meant. But you can also see here, he does follow this philosophy that the Pros had, having one cable go through and then you have one out, which goes into this 4-pin mini XLR. And for the 880s, I know that the unmodded version also has a single entry, and this cable runs to the head strap going to the other driver. So nothing has really changed. But the sound has. Comparing the T1s to the 770s, wider, more detailed. What else can I say? Comparing them to the 880s, brighter, a lot more detailed, more beautiful mid-range, and if anything, more punchy and very, very memorable bass compared to the 880s, which I thought had one of the most spectacular bass, even compared to the 770s, which are closed backs. These are semi-open. Comparing them to the 990 Pros and Premiums, more laid back, more musical, more enjoyable headphones. That's something that is super weird to say, especially comparing it to a 990, whether that be the Premium or the Pro. The T1s, I think, beat them out completely. You can run these balanced. what's really weird is that I do remember seeing a review of these, and the unit that was being reviewed does have a balanced cable. So I kind of was curious whether or not they came with like a balanced option, and then they had a 1/4 inch option for the Generation 1s, which I'm going to assume was the case. I'm going to be plugging these into the tube, and I'll be switching over in just a moment. So these share the same adjustment height that I would put for the Pros, which for my head size is around the 4th dot or so in height. So let's switch over to these. Right away, a nice light feel. And on the tubes, a more beefy bass, more laid back highs. Listening to songs like Whitney Houston's Nothing, I Am Nothing. Her voice is just perfect. Yeah, I Have Nothing, yes. The No One Like You song from the Scorpions. There's an airy kind of bright sheen that goes on top of the treble that is very noticeable on 990s. And those headphones are on the verge of being too sharp. These are just laid back. Whether or not these are on the Magni 3 and Modi 3 combo or on my Valhalla 2 tube amp. Switch over. No difference. I feel as though the Tesla drivers that are in these are just perfect. They are not too crazy. And speaking of efficiency, let's see what happens if I plug these into the Motu 4. At max volume, they're loud enough for me. They're loud enough for me. They work. I can manage my voice. The design of these are also a little bit they're a little bit misleading. They look very similar to 880s, but they are actually not semi-open headphones. The T1s are fully open back headphones, which means they bleed. And also the T1 pads are actually super different. They are not the stiff pad feeling that you will recognize on a DT770, which, keep this in mind, the 770 velour pads are different from the 990 velour pads, which are on the 880s and the 990 premiums and pros. This pad has this softness and stiffness, kind of like an in-between. It's like a medium of the 770 velour and the 880 velour. And again, the cup size is the same. If anything, this headphone is the same. But what other differences are there for this? Well, besides the obvious mods, which we have to ignore for the review, and again, he hasn't done anything to the drivers. All he's done is just make this a removable cable. Angled drivers. There is an angled driver design on the inside, which is super weird. Because if you look at the way that those angled drivers are made, they are just interesting. I think that the shape and the angle of attack hasn't changed from the T50, it might be the TP50, the P50, T50, T50, T70, T90. It's the other Tesla headphones, which apparently were just trash compared to their flagship T1s. And they also share the same angle drivers that are on the Amaron Homes, whether that be the Bluetooth or the wired version. So, cool. I brought up a bunch of other headphones. I've compared the shape and sizes to even the cheaper, more affordable alternative, such as the Pro series or the Premium series. Talked about the sound and the build. These things, oh my god, these things just weigh. They're heavy. But they aren't heavy on the head. That's just something I can't get over. They're not heavy. They're not heavy on my head. They just sit here. And even though this is not the same strap as what would have came with this, even though these are not most likely the same clamp force as they would have been brand new, these are still a flagship T1 And in my eyes and to my ears, they sound and feel like flagship T1s. Like, these were definitely supposed to be $1,000 back in the day. So, how do I want to end this video? I have to end it saying, these have been my flagship, and it's kind of funny. This is now the extra stuff. You can stop the video. This is the end of the video. When I bought these, the deal I struck with the guy was for $20, and it was funny because I wasn't lowballing him, but I was just trying to get a good deal out of these because of how old they are. But typically headphones tend to hold their value pretty well. And this is the cool story. Basically, we kept going down in price. He kept going like down in price from his asking price slowly, and then I actually sent him a message. I was like, hey, we all know it was gonna come to this point, and I gave him $420, and he laughed. He was just like, I can't skip out on that. So $420 it was for these. I got these for half the price that these were worth back in the day, and these still probably can sell for $500, $600, especially with the accessories that comes with it. It does come with a custom braided cable, which is actually super light and unacoustic. Typically when you do these cable mods, you can actually hear acoustically when you rub the cable on something. You can hear that. I don't hear it at all. This is also a custom XLR cable that goes to 1/4 inch. I don't know the brands for anything here, but just know that that is a balanced cable connector, because that is a 4-pin XLR port that comes out. So if I ever need to use these on my amps, I do need to have this adapter. And I was kind of scared because I thought that the guy originally, when he was putting the ad up, I was like, shit, I don't think he has the adapter for this. I might not want to bid, but luckily enough, sir, he had it. So that's the cool story. That's the accessories that came with this. Comes with a case. I have a feeling that the cups are wider. That's something that has kind of like gone into my head, and the only reason why is because when I put these in the case, the zipper is a lot more tighter to close onto compared to the T1s. So if I put these on, these have a very nice, like they're right on there. I'm not really putting any force. It's just let them, you know. But then if I do put the T1s in here, I have a feeling that the T1s actually by nature do have a little bit bigger cups, or it could just be the material, but as you can see here, there's a gap now. So storing these is kind of scary. I don't want to bend these. I have bent these a little bit actually, in terms of trying to adjust the cup so that they're actually even, because what was weird is that I think in shipping these were not actually even, and that showed up on the original recordings. Me trying to bend these, and it looked very sketch. So yeah, we don't talk about that. But portable, these are modded. These make me happy. These were my end game. They still are my end game, was to get a pair of T1s. And I have to say that I'm happy. I know that I'll be daily driving 6XXs, but if I have to go somewhere and I have to do some listening, you bet that I'm going to be bringing T1s. And it's not to show off. It isn't to flex. It isn't because of anything but the sound. These things just sound good for music. Everybody doesn't like the Beyerdynamic house sound. They typically are sharp, and these are no different. These still do have those highs. But are they killer? No. Do tubes help quite a bit? Yes. They help a little bit with the bass and the low end. They help with curving the highs a bit. But gosh darn, man. Headphones make it hard for me to make a choice. There's so many of them. I know the Gen 2s exist, and you don't need to do the cable mod anymore because they finally thought, Badoy, let's make them detachable. Same with the Generation 3. But the one thing that I couldn't get over was apparently the Gen 2s and Gen 3s were moving further and further away from the sound that was described for the original Beyerdynamics. Even the DT48As, the DT48Es, and the S's. They were mid-range monstrosities and had the most, if I think back at it, they have the most imbalanced, or I would say the highest probability that the highs would become unstable and just sound sharp and piercing. And that's definitely what happens with these. It's not that they become unstable, it's just that they still hold on to that quality that make them sound like Beyerdynamics. So thanks for watching this video. It wasn't a first impressions. I wish I could, but no takesies backsies, right? I already opened the box. You can't get my first impressions like, wow, that's a T1. No, I also had to give these a listen for quite some time, and I think that they deserve that much. So thanks for watching this video. I'll be sure to be doing another video very soon, as in like the same day. I'm talking about the 900Xs from Audio-Technica and comparing these to the 500Xs. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.